I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we journey to the sunlit shores of the French Riviera with author and illustrator Leigh Rauseo. She's one of my favorite guests, one of my favorite authors, and her vibrant storytelling brings adventure, language, and courage to life for young readers. Her book that we're talking about today is called Georgette and the Jellyfish: Adventures in Juan-les-Pins. It follows a curious little girl whose unexpected encounter in the Mediterranean Sea leads to discovery, bravery, and a magical unfolding of summer. With warmth, whimsy, and a touch of French flair, Leigh invites readers of all ages to explore new cultures, new words, and unexpected wonders that shape us all. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today once again. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Leigh, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me back. It's so nice to see you.
It's great to see you, and you've already educated me a little bit. I learned something. I had to Google today how to say Juan-les-Pins.
Yeah,
And I still don't know exactly where it is. I know it's on the French Riviera. So why don't you explain to the folks at home where this amazingly beautiful place is?
So it's in Provence. It's in the southern France region of Provence, which is on the Côte d'Azur, which is the French Riviera.
Huh?
And it's very tiny. Not a lot of people have heard of it. It's right next to Nice, and Antibes is kind of right in between there. So it's actually very close to all the hotspots, Cannes and Nice and all the places that are a little more popular that people know.
I think Juan-les-Pins is going to have to be on my travel bucket list because I'm sure I've been to Nice and I've been to Cannes, and I'm sure this being a little less discovered is probably better. So that sounds great.
I highly recommend. It's a wonderful spot.
Okay, I've got your recommendation. I'm going there. I could be there right now because it's about 24 degrees right now in New York City, so it's cold and probably a lot warmer in the south of France.
It always is. It's always so much sunnier in the south of France. Agreed.
It really is. It's like paradise. Talk to us about setting a children's adventure there. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, I did it because I had one for my daughter, my family. We actually went. So we went and had a vacation there, and it was a little spot that I had never stayed in very long. So I wanted to get more familiar with the local places and the popular spots in Juan-les-Pins. And my dad had been there previously when he was in the Navy, and it was highly recommended. So we went and had a vacation, and we had an adventure, and it was such a fun adventure that I wrote a book about it.
Wonderful. And it's great because it transports children to other areas. So now from reading your book, they're going to know a little bit about the south of France. And I think
Yes.
that's great. I mean, I think that makes them well-rounded. I think that makes them cultured. And I think that's great, a great part of the learning journey, right?
I agree. Thank you. Yes. Well, yeah. And the places are real spots. So you could read the book and use it as a little travel guide, and go and visit the places that are mentioned, because
That'd be great.
yeah.
And one of the encounters Georgette has right at the beginning is a frightening one.
Yes.
It's with a jellyfish. Talk to us about that and why you hope what you hope children will learn from that.
Well, and this is, I mix a little fiction with reality, but this really happened. And we went to Juan-les-Pins, and it was during a heat wave in southern France. And it's still gorgeous and amazing, but you just want to be in the water when there's a heat wave in southern France. Gorgeous water. And we went into the water, and the first thing that happened was my daughter got stung by a jellyfish. And so the story is kind of about how she goes through that experience and is terrified then to go back in the water, even during this horrible heat wave, and how we navigate through that fear, and kind of some of the fun things that we do instead, and the places that we discover instead, and then how she eventually builds up the courage to go back in that water.
It's a tough one to overcome. My daughter jumped in the water on a hot summer day off of the beach near Savannah, Georgia. As you can imagine, the water's pretty hot there.
Ooh.
Immediately, she came out screaming because she'd been bitten all over her legs by jellyfish.
Oh.
Fortunately, the lifeguards had some kind of spray they put on her right away. But
Mhm.
it's not a fun encounter, so I can relate to Georgette's fear and your daughter's fear. Is your daughter's name Georgette?
No, her name is
Okay.
Lily. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. I
Yeah,
understand
that's
that.
right. That's right.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Your book also incorporates French expressions and cultural
Mhm.
details. Talk to us about why you included those and what you hope children gain from that.
So in this book, in my first book, it was a little bit more simple words that we discussed were kind of cognates, like you can recognize them in French and in English. They look very similar. And in this one, I was a little more playful with the expressions. So it was more expressions that you wouldn't see very commonly in a novice level French book or a textbook, and some silly expressions that kind of added to the drama, like, when she gets stung by the jellyfish, she says, Je vais tomber dans les pommes, which means like, I'm going to faint, but it really means, it's translated to, I'm going to fall into the apples. And so there were little fun expressions that I peppered in through the story, that maybe wouldn't be as common if you're studying the language, and more so if you were actually just in the culture, those cultural expressions.
Wonderful. Sacre bleu. I have been stung by the jellyfish.
That's right.
Like I said, everything from me is from Pepe Le Pew, and I apologize right away. You're a French language teacher, right? Tell us a little bit about your work.
Yes, I'm a French language teacher. I've been teaching, this is now my 21st year. It's hard to
Wow.
believe. And yeah, I love the idea of teaching through storytelling and creating beautiful images in my lesson plans or in worksheets that students have to do to help facilitate them speaking and being in the most natural sort of speaking situation as possible, which is hard to do when you're in a little box, in a classroom that's not in southern France or anywhere in
Right.
a French speaking area.
Well, you try to bring it to life with your posters and all of that stuff, I see, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly. Try to kind of immerse in, bring the culture here,
yeah.
and make things as interactive as possible, and incorporate some of those cultural expressions that they might not see in their text.
Wonderful. And what grades do you teach?
I'm currently teaching seventh and eighth, but I've taught all secondary grades. I've taught
Gotcha.
6 to 12. Yes.
Now, this book is actually for younger students. What grades is this book geared for?
So this book would be for elementary level students, reading, anywhere from 3 to 8-ish.
Right.
And then parents who love to read the language
Yeah,
as well. So
exactly.
people who live their lives in franglais like me. So but I like a little bit of both, and
Exactly.
know the pronunciation. One of these days, I'm hoping to do some sort of audiobook so that those words, people know how to pronounce them. You did a fabulous job coming right on and knowing exactly how to pronounce
Great.
Juan-les-Pins.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My French teacher would be proud. I think I got
Very
an F
proud.
minus in that class, but she'd be proud.
I
Madame
don't.
Rudolph was her name at Archbishop Stepanak High School. I still remember.
Oh,
Um, but what's great about your book is that unfortunately, most children don't learn about foreign languages until they're in those secondary grades.
agree.
And
Yes,
they're really sponges for the languages when they are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right?
yes,
When they're younger.
they
That's the
really.
ideal time to teach them if we could, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not afraid. They're not afraid of sounding silly or not getting the pronunciation right. They don't have that filter that kind of builds up as we age. And
yeah,
I know if only in the United States we were, promoted those languages a little sooner in public schools, especially
yeah.
in elementary. So yeah, this is
That would be
geared
great.
towards
Wonderful.
those kids.
Awesome. And you do the illustrations as well, so you're multi-talented. Tell us about the illustrations.
The illustrations are so hard, but they're a labor of love. That's the part that takes me the absolute most time, because I have to set everything up, have the right lighting and then the time and the space to draw and to paint. And sometimes I start something and I'm like, I can't do it. And then I wake up at 2 in the morning and then I'm like, oh, I can do it. So it's a weird thing, those illustrations. I don't do it all the time. So when it's helpful when I consistently do the illustrations, when I have the time to do it, which usually happens in the summertime for me.
Like any other skill, the more consistently you do it, the better you'll be at it, and the
Yes.
more fluid you'll be at it. Your book includes a recipe. I think your last book included a recipe as well, which I think is great because,
Yes.
like I said, it's cultural immersion, and that's part of the whole beauty of these books. So
Mm-hmm.
tell us about this recipe and what the children will learn, and their parents probably.
Yeah, this is a really simple recipe for banana bread because everyone always has leftover bananas, in the house. And this is something we make all the time, and it's really easy to get your child involved in making it because the ingredients are simple and tasty, and it's one of my daughter's favorite snacks for all occasions. And so, yes, there's a full recipe in there that people can take with them wherever they go and make the sweet treat to help them
Sounds
overcome their
great.
fear or just to have with a coffee, like what I
Sounds
like.
great. I'm a big banana bread fan, so I'll have to check out that recipe and start making
Yeah.
some with the old bananas in my house.
Hmm.
Um, so you've got a series going on now. Tell us the books that are in the series so far and what you envision, and give us a little bit of an overview.
Okay. Well, I started with Georgette Has a Cold, and that was Adventures in Avignon, also in Provence, also in the southern France area. And and that was kind of based on a mix of experiences. I had lived in Avignon when I was younger, and then it mixed together with my sort of adult life, and created a book from that, from all kind of the things that were still in my mind, and then moved on to Georgette, and the jellyfish in Juan-les-Pins after we had recently visited, and my daughter got stung by a jellyfish. So that was the idea for another book. And both books kind of have a theme of overcoming something unpleasant, so how you sort of navigate around an unpleasant situation, whether it's being sick or getting hurt. And especially for a child, how the moment that you spend being hurt or sick can become actually a really special moment with your loved ones, when you're sharing with them during that time and they're helping you recover from whatever it is, and then how they sort of overcome that and get right back on to living their best lives.
Wonderful, wonderful. So two books in the series so far. Are you envisioning a third?
Absolutely. I have four illustrations so far. And
Okay.
in this book, I'm taking my readers to Quebec. So we're
Okay.
going to Canada in this one.
Okay. And what will that adventure entail? Do you have any idea yet?
Yes, yes. So the title is, well, okay, I guess I can say what the title is. The title is Georgette and the Giant, and
Hmm.
it's about how Georgette goes on an adventure to Quebec, and there's a trembling mountain, which there is called a trembling Mont Tremblant is the place in Quebec, that we visited that inspired this story, and it's how she comes in contact with this giant and the reason why she encounters the giant. It involves some environmental themes about keeping the ground clean and making sure that you throw your litter in the trash, or else it awakens this giant on a mountain in Quebec. And I was inspired because it really is such a movement in Canada, and all of Canada. It's so beautiful, and there's signs everywhere to make sure that you're not littering, or and keeping the land clean. And everyone takes so much pride in the beauty and the cleanliness and the mountains and the trees and the wildlife. So it was such a wonderful experience when we visited, and it inspired this book and how she overcomes the encounter with the giant.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that has more of an environmental theme, which is new for your books, which
Yes,
is
environmental.
wonderful. Yeah.
And then also more expressions that are signature to Quebec, because some are a little different than those in France.
Exactly, exactly. I
Mhm.
think I can understand the people in Quebec better, but that's probably because they mix it with English a little bit more. That
It
might be it.
There is a lot of English,
Yeah.
and then it's so interesting because I think even sometimes in France there's more English for certain words than there are in Canada, because in Canada there's the French Canadians are so loyal to their French roots, and so things like that are kind of anglicisms in France, like le weekend, in France is la fin de semaine in Quebec, and
It's
so
great.
it's an interesting cultural shift, and in some cases there's a lot of English, and in some cases there's less. So
Well, they need to be protective of their language because if they lose their language and lose their culture, and then they become like the United States North. I'm not saying we have our culture, which is wonderful, but they
yeah.
have their culture, and it's nice to be able to go to Montreal or Quebec or elsewhere in France and feel, oh, France, there we go, Freudian slip.
Mhm.
Canada and almost feel like you're in France. So I think them
Absolutely.
retaining their French culture is
Yes.
great. Well, you've
Yes.
done great work on these books. The latest installment in the Georgette series is Georgette and the Jellyfish, Adventures in Juan-les-Pins. It
Perfect.
follows a curious little girl whose unexpected adventures in the Mediterranean Sea leads to discovery, bravery, and a magical unfolding of summer. Leigh, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Oh, thank you, Logan. Thank you for your words. Thank you. It's so kind of you to say, and I'm so happy that you love the book.
Well, it's my pleasure. I do love the book. It's highly recommended. Pick one up for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or
Mhm.
birthdays or any reason because it's a wonderful read and you'll immerse your children in a terrific culture that is elegant and beautiful and life-changing. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on the Global Book Network.